welcome to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green. I had to think about it for a second to make sure. Here we are live on Thursday. Another day, another show. I'm not going to lie, I just woke up 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and had a hard time getting any sleep. You know, people try to sleep during the day like me. And on my out here at my palatial estate, they were chainsawing trees down or something like that. It sounded like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre all day. And, good, decent people like me trying to sleep all afternoon. So, but I didn't let it stop me. I'm bigger than that. And I'm here. We're going to talk about all kinds of cool stuff today. Take your questions because that's more important. And we're going to talk about some show updates. We're going to talk about some controversies possibly that were in some of the interviews that have already aired and all that and more right after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody out there to waste time with that. All right, here we are again. I'm glad everyone is piling on in. And for those of you watching this on the replay, I'm glad you're here as well. So let's start by talking a little bit about my last interview that aired was Steve Riley from LA Guns and also Wasp. And we talked about the 36th anniversary of the record, The Last Command. I know some people laughed like, 36, what anniversary is that? You know, and the whole point was it just happened to be the day I was talking to him and it was an excuse to talk about that record. So we talked a lot about LA Guns and I had someone ask me, and thank you so much, Kevin. I much appreciated for the support. And the laptop fund is still going. For those of you who are paying attention, I'm panhandling to get a new laptop so we can bring you guys all kinds of better quality. So anyway, I had Steve Riley on, and one of the questions that I didn't get to was there was a drummer named Bones who played with LA Guns. He played on the Vicious Circle record. Most of it, and he played on the record Cuts, and I thought, I know a lot. I mean, I'm not Stump the Trunk and all of that, but I know a lot of people and trivia and things like that, and I didn't know where he was, and so he for those of you who may know, Steve Riley was fired from LA Guns at one point. I think after the Hollywood Vampires record, the story is allegedly he rolled up a newspaper and hit Phil on the head with it. He says a different version. It's in the interview. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. You'll learn some cool stuff. And he was replaced by this guy Bones, who, in my opinion, is the only other drummer who ever appeared at LA Guns. Anybody after, there was Riley and Bones are just people, keeping the seat warm. But so anyway, this gentleman named Bones, his real name is Mike Gersema. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Gersema. Michael Bones. Gersema. Anyway, tragically, he passed away the other day, pretty much right after I did my interview with Steve. The news kind of broke that he passed away, and I believe he had liver failure. Not 100% sure, but I believe that's what it was. So rest in peace. And I enjoyed the Vicious Circle record. I think it's a good record. Some people are torn on it, and I think there's some really good stuff on it. So I wanted to start by mentioning that because it didn't come up in the interview, oddly enough. And I'm not sure Steve would have known where he is anyway. But so anyway, the Steve Riley interview is doing really well. People really seem to enjoy that interview. I really enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite ones that I've done. I don't think it dives too much into trash talk, and I think he really focuses on the history of the bands that he performed in. It's his side of things, and I'm glad that we got to put that out there. I don't necessarily choose sides. I know sometimes it seems like I do, but I wanted to put his information out there. And so if you have not seen the Steve Riley interview, I recommend you look at it. So that's the last interview. What's the next interview? Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to have an interview. And I'm going to share a link with you because that way you can go and you can set a reminder to watch this interview. And I just put this one up like right now. And so this is going to be tomorrow's guest. A drum roll, if you're so inclined at home, is Steve Blaze from the band Lillian Axe. Okay. And I think you guys are going to like this one. I enjoyed it. And I'm going to be honest with you. I did not know a lot about Lillian Axe. I remember the name. And I remember they had, some MTV play here and there. But I find that all it takes is to have an interesting story. Sometimes that's it's not always the biggest artists that are out there or the ones who achieve the most success. It's sometimes people who have the best story. And Steve Blaze has a great story. And, their first record was produced by Robin Crosby. He tells some great rat stories. There's some other big name people who come in and out of his life. He started Lillian Axe in 1983. He continues it to this day. So anyway, the link is right there in the comments. If you are interested, go click on it now, like it, set a reminder tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Everyone else figure it out yourself. Math is not my strong point. That interview will air, and I'll be live in the chat, and we can talk some more while it's going on. Yes, he's Steve Blaze. Okay, so I'm reading some of the comments. And so, yes, Steve was in Angel, and we do discuss that. Angel comes up on this show a lot. Frank Domino was a good friend of mine, lives here in Las Vegas. And then, yes, Steve is a great guitar player, definitely an underrated guitar player. And yes, someone saying here they thought tomorrow's interview was Warren DeMartini. Unfortunately, we are going to have to reschedule Warren DeMartini yet again. I know it seems like every week is the week, but this one, let's see here. I'm not sure. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I'm working alone tonight. My moderator is off on a family dinner or something like that, and those kind of things. The kids with the family, and then Miguel, my sidekick, he's nowhere to be found right now. I'm not joking when I say I just wake up and decide to do these things, but I'm so glad to see so many people are into it, and we've created a little bit of a family here. We have a community. I start to know everyone's name, and it's like that Cheers bar. So Steve Blaze is tomorrow's interview, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will be there in the chat. Now let's go back again. So before Steve Riley from LA Guns, we had Donnie V from Enough Is Enough. That one making news. By news, I mean a somewhat metal website with a few people who comment is talking about it, which is great. I'm happy to have that. So Donnie V, him and Chip, they have this Enough Is Enough battle, and who knows? But who better to give a weigh in on it than Johnny Monaco, who sang and played guitar for Enough Is Enough at times. So he will be on next week. I figured that's an intense one. He's got a lot to say, and he's brutally honest and very funny as well. So he will be on next week, and it's recorded. So yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm happy that people enjoy this channel, and we have some cool stuff coming up. We got some new business opportunities and some branding, and there's all kinds of cool stuff. And of course, I'm picking the comments, so I'm going to show all the ones that say good things about me. But we do have some cool stuff coming up as far as the growth of this channel. I started this thing. I wanted to do this a long time, as you guys have heard me say. I wanted to be a broadcast journalist. I worked for Geraldo Rivera when I lived in New York City, and this was not a quick cash grab type, I got nothing better to do thing at home. I've always been interested in this. So when the opportunity arose, it seemed like now with this technology, you can do it. And I do know a lot of interesting people, and I'm excited to bring those people in. And as I've said before, originally the idea of this show was to do all kinds of different things. I was going to go to locations and do fun things, but the interviews really took off, and that's what people seem to really react to. And so we're going with that for now. Sometimes I think about doing more like a morning show, except I can't get up in the morning, and talk and have some guests appear on that, and it could happen. But right now, I know people enjoy the interviews. I try to keep my opinions out of those interviews, and try to let the guests talk and let people tell stories that maybe you haven't heard before. And sometimes I try to ask questions that I think other people maybe they're scared to ask. So anyway, I appreciate all of these kind words. It's not wasted on me. But so the growth of the channel has been huge, and I always say it's thanks to you guys. We have well over 8,000 subscribers, and we have 750,000 views. My goal would be to have 10,000 subscriptions by the end of the year and 1 million views. I think we can do it. You guys got to share. You got to share if you like it. Share it. And then I want to mention Patreon real quick, and I'll get that plug out of the way, and then we can get into much more interesting things. But the Patreon is what keeps this going, and everyone's been so great. You sign up, and you get all kinds of cool things, and I send the welcome package. And if anyone hasn't got it yet, please make sure that you let me know so that I can send it to you. Sometimes got a lot of people watching from overseas, and sometimes mail is tough. Right now there's people's things floating around in a harbor, and so hold on. Here's the link for that Patreon. My patrons have already watched the Steve Blaze interview. So they saw it before anyone else. They saw it ad-free, interruption-free, commercial-free, whatever you want to call it. They've already watched it. So if you sign up, you get to watch the interviews before anyone else does. The Johnny Monaco interview is going to go to everyone a week before it comes out. So if that kind of thing interests you, do it. Also, I've been using your questions. If you watch the interviews, including Steve Blaze, I'm taking questions from my Patreons. So if you want to support the channel, this is the best way to do it. Go sign up for the appropriate tier. I mentioned it in all the videos, but it does help. And, sign up for as long as you want. Stay a week, stay a month, stay 50 years. I hope I'm around in those days. But so anyway, that helps support the channel. And you guys have better questions. Trust me, I'm always happy to ask the guests your questions. And we've gotten some good ones. So, okay, so also coming up, I have, I've mentioned this before, Steve Broy, who was the original member of the band The Mentors. He's one of the founding members of Mentors. I added and this is punk rock history. I hope you guys will check this one out. It's an interesting interview. He's an interesting guy with a long, controversial thing. Look at this. Your son is 9 and he's a fan. Makes me, Sean, thank you. And to your son, makes me think I got to clean up my act. I didn't realize I had such a family business here. Last week's show, when we had Miguel, my co-host, sitting in, boy, did we use some blue language. And at one point, the monetization of that video was on hold. And I thought, what is it that which thing did I do wrong? But you know what? It went away. It was appealed or whatever. And then I'm now just making millions and millions and millions of dollars on that. What happened to Robert Sarzo interview? That's a good question. So when I talked to Robert, he wanted to promote the new Hurricane album, and he wanted to wait until that record was out. So I'm assuming it is not available yet, and that he'll come on the show when that interview is ready. There's this new thing of people who are scared to do the show. I'm not going to name names just yet, but there are people who don't want to be asked any questions that matter. They don't want to upset their bandmates. They don't want to ruin the chances of a reunion. Now, I don't think I really do any of that. Ooh, here's a good question. Hold on. You guys, I get distracted. Who has more talent? Danger, Tough, or Junkyard? These are the kind of questions that get me in trouble, and then people don't want to come on the show. As far as guitar players go, Andy Timmons of Danger, in my opinion, is the best of the three. The guy in Tough's name is Jorge DeSaint. I only know that because of Stevie Rochelle being on the show. And Junkyard, I think the Junkyard guy is in Bad Religion, which is cool. I like Bad Religion, but I think Andy Timmons is the best of the guitar players, and then the rest of it. So I think that he's. So it's hard to call Danger talented because, and no offense to those guys, I've had them on the show, but they got some shitty songs too. So, not all of them. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. I'm not in a rush to see any of those bands. Okay, so back to the point that I was making. Can anyone remember? This is what sucks when I'm on my own here. What the hell was I just talking about? Patreon and the millions of dollars in money and not working blue. I can't remember. I get distracted. But anyway, Steve Roy from the Mentors is coming up. Robert Sarzo, I told you. Oh yeah, we're talking about people who are scared to come on the show. It's happening a lot. And then there's people telling other people not to come on the show. Then you get these guys who do their own shows, and maybe they've been doing it a lot longer than me, but have not had as much success. And some are more successful, but they don't. There's a competition. All of a sudden, this is like the late night wars with like Johnny Carson and Jay Leno for you young folks. Those were talk show hosts, and David Letterman, and everyone's fighting over booking. I personally think I sell product very well. I can show you my numbers from people who click on things and buy shit, and so anyway, people should come on here. And I don't think I give anyone that hard of a time. Wow, here's a great one, David Johansen. I would love to have that. Would be one of my top ones, but I've got some surprises coming soon. We got some actors, actresses too. We got to mix it up. Can't just talk to musicians. So I got some stuff. And as the channel grows, the bigger the guests. You guys want to see big names, then we've got to, Alex Kane of the band Life, Sex, and Death, I think is an option. The other thing is, if you guys see someone you want me to interview, instead of making suggestions, which I'll tell you, I like the suggestions, write these people. Write them and tell them that you're about the show. Tell them you want to see them on the show. Let's work together on this. You guys, I'll give you guys a producing credit. And that and a quarter won't even get you a cup of coffee these days. But yeah, well, let's work together and let's get some of these people. But because when the show started, it was because I just had my friends on and people that I worked with, and I was fortunate to know some cool people. And by the way, we're going to talk about some other news events. I forgot. I got to make notes. Scott Coogan could be an interesting interview now that he left LA Guns. Can't say I blame him. They've only had 50, 60 turnovers. Yeah, there's a lot of good suggestions coming in today. So you guys got to write them and message them and put them in the comments so that I can go back and refer to them. But anyway, so the people not coming on, there's a few. And then there's other ones who get it. You have to get this. Either you get it or you don't. The people who get it go, wow, look at these numbers. This is great. If I have on Donnie V from Enough's Enough, he gets 5,000 views in the first 24 hours. If you look at any other interviews he's done, it's a miracle if he cracks 500. There's a reason. It's because you guys are passionate about this show. And wow, some. And then every now and then you guys give me these things. Shock 'em dead. I'm going to look it up. Gilby Clarke. Someone said you'd be interested in Gilby Clarke. I was interested too, and Gilby and I were talking back and forth, and I'll be honest, he flaked. That's okay. I'd rather have Izzy Stradlin. See, look at that. Now you guys are working as a team. You just messaged Alex. Perfect. Teamwork. I would love to interview Alex. He would be a really interesting interview. And Bad for Good, members of Bad for Good. Yeah, I'd like to get them. We're talking about, okay, let's talk about the Ramones. Now you're talking my language. Tell us, who is your favorite Ramone and why? Unfortunately, this is not that difficult. Well, maybe it is more difficult than I think. Johnny was the Ramone that I knew best. Johnny was the Ramone that I spoke to the most. And Johnny Ramone's business ethic and attitude it inspired me. And it's the reason I bought a guitar. I was going to say Dee Dee because Dee Dee was a bass player and wrote all those great songs. So it's between Johnny and Dee Dee. But I believe me, I love all the Ramones. I think that, the Ramones is so much more than just a T-shirt. I think young people got to get into it, and you got to listen to more than just I Want to Be Sedated. But the Ramones is way more than a 3-chord punk band. There's a lot to some of those songs. So my favorite band of all time. I don't want to butcher your name, so I'm just going to say thank you. And yes, I would love to have those guys from Ghost on. I think Ghost is one of the better, if you dare call them, modern acts. And I love the idea. I love the gimmick. It's mixing heavy metal and professional wrestling. I think Ghost was better when there was a secret. I think that the lawsuits and things ruined it a little bit, but I know the guys in Ghost have their own band, and I think it's called Priest, something like that. And they have a record, and I would love to talk to those guys about that. Michael Anthony, yes, Michael Anthony, great guy. And I think I'd like to have him on to talk about hot sauce, because we're going to try his hot sauce, which is hard to get. See, a lot of people talking about the Toilet Boys. That is so inside New York. I'm surprised you guys even know what that is. The singer used to be on Howard Stern a lot. I saw Toilet Boys play a club called Continental Divide in New York City. Don't bother looking for it. It's not there anymore. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Yeah. I'd love to have Dave or Dan Spitz on the show as well. So, hey, I see that, we're just talking about Bones passing away, but also I saw the funeral for Frankie Banali has been in the news. They weren't able to have his funeral because of, the C word. And so they supposedly he planned out what he wanted. He had pancreatic cancer. Rest in peace, Frankie. I've worked with him a few times, and he planned out his own funeral, which I think is a kind of a smart thing. I've got some ideas for my funeral. It's on a Post-it note on my door, just in case. But so I see that it was a strange event. I see the pictures, and they have Eddie Trunk hosting a funeral. It's kind of odd. I like Eddie Trunk. I know Eddie Trunk referred to it as a gig at one point, and that seems so odd to me, at a funeral. Everyone's posing with the ashes, and they put this bust at the Rainbow that looks more like Rick James, but that's okay. But it's a whole thing. It's slightly morbid, but I go to cemeteries and visit people all the time. But I found this thing to be a little bit weird, and I found it to be a little bit of a Quiet Riot commercial. It seemed a little bit like meet the new Quiet Riot. Rudy Sarzo's back, and it's strange to me. No disrespect to anyone making a living, but this funeral was odd. And then it occurred to me, what if? Oh yes, I would have my funeral live. Yeah, we can do that. Anything happens to me, just make sure that you just run the camera. So. Yeah, the hosting is cringy. Yeah, it's look who's here. It's strange to me. And I like Eddie Trunk, and I also get that this is a celebration of life in a sense. But to have Eddie Trunk or anybody I don't think I would do the gig, I'll tell you that. You know what I mean? I'd rather sit here and tell dick jokes. You know what I mean? I just, I don't get it. I don't get it. And so And then I see Kelly Garney's there. He's going to be a guest on the show. Jizzy Pearl's a good friend of mine. But I feel like we're trying to pass this torch, yet Carlos Cavazzo, who really is the essential living member of Quiet Riot, is not involved. And that's because of business differences. And I think they should have given him whatever he wants and get him involved, because that's Quiet Riot. It's a shame that they can't work that out. It's a bummer, but that happens sometimes. So anyway, but I couldn't help think to myself, what if Bobby Blotzer planned his own funeral, right? I mean, I don't know if you guys know my involvement with a band called Fake Rat and Bobby Blotzer. I try not to talk about it on here too much. I think one day I'm going to do a recap of what it was like, because it was so ridiculous. There was a time when he had a script that he wrote, and it was going to be every show was going to begin with this live segment, and it was so poorly written. But the idea was that Bobby Blotzer would be in a bedroom, in a living room set, and he would get this. He'd hear on the radio that Rat needs to get back together, and then there was this Christ-like. He strikes a Christ-like pose. I swear this is all in the script, and I should just put it out. I didn't sign an NDA, and then it would snow, and I had a part where I'd come by mopping like I was fucking Carol Burnett, and it was awful. And I said, how? And he wanted to travel with a truck to carry all this shit, a living room set. I mean, oh my God, it was so stupid. And then he tried to make a video of it so he could show it on film before every show, and the people working with him it didn't work out, put it like that. But he was talking about how they use mashed potatoes instead of mashed potato flakes, because that's how they do the snow in Hollywood. I mean, he was a character and a half. And so I think that then there was another time at the Whiskey, Fake Rat was playing. And the night before, he told me, let's call it Rat. And he put up Rat signs, and he pretended the band is going to be Rat from now on, yet he was the only one there. And look, we knew he was going to get sued, and we knew he was going to lose. But he had this idea to hire a guy to wear a skeleton costume, an athletic gymnast, tall, muscular guy. And then that guy would come on stage before the show, and he would do push-ups and jumping jacks and other acrobatic things. And then Blotzer would come out wearing the same skeleton suit. And he would act like it was him all along. Thank you very much. And he would act like it was him all along. The thing is, Blotzer is not tall and athletic. He's short, fat, and dumpy. And so he would come waddling down. And there's a video of this. The Whiskey has it. I'd love to get that, to put that out. And nobody understood what was going on. They're like, why is this fat guy acting like he's the other? It was just so stupid. Skeleton costume. And I remember that he paid the guy in the skeleton costume more than he paid the members of the band that night. It was just such a joke. And but this is, and then he had always had these concepts and visual things. And sometimes when you take the member of the band that doesn't really matter and you let them talk so much, they can let things go to their head. And so this was his chance, because I'm sure when Rat existed, he was told to shut up and play the drums. And he's a good drummer, but these creative ideas are ridiculous. He used to call me 15 times a day. And I could just imagine, if I had to still work with this horrible person, that him calling me, bro, got to talk about the funeral. I could just hear it, like we need to have guys in skeleton costumes, and we need to give a guy, he goes in my grave, and then he jumps out of the grave, and he's wearing a Bobby Blotzer costume. I just see the ego of this this guy, you know what I mean? So anyway, I'm trying to tell you stories about things, but you guys have good questions too, and I'll try to get to these. But so anyway, I just think, like, is this going to be the new norm? Rock stars planning their own funerals, and then it's like I can see Kiss do this, you know what I mean, and then have like 4 fake Kiss members there, maybe Tommy Thayer's there, and then going like, this is what Paul wanted. Paul wanted the new Kiss. Here they are, new Kiss, and then and then they stand and they all throw some dirt into his grave. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's these are my thoughts on that thing. It's been a slow week for rock news, but I do see people posting, and then I see guys like Ricky Rocket. He's got a YouTube channel. And I feel like everyone's just getting content. I feel like we're turning a funeral into content. What an odd thing. I don't know. Don't know what I would do, but I definitely don't think I would be the host. Hey there, ladies and germs. Good evening. Welcome to the funeral. What kind of material do you do? And I looked like Eddie Trunk wore his good T-shirt. Again, I do like Eddie Trunk. He's a very nice guy, but it's the whole thing seemed a little tasteless. Anyway, here's my thoughts. Now let's get to your thoughts. Somebody wants to know: did I ask Steve Broy about El Duce getting hit by a train and it's getting his heel caught in the tracks? I did. I asked him exactly what he thinks happened. And as you know, 7 days prior to him getting hit by a train, he did an interview where he passed a lie detector test saying that Courtney Love hired him to murder Kurt Cobain. And he says he did not do it, but he knows the guy who did. And anyway, I do get Steve Broy's exact opinions on that, and you can watch that. And that's just one of a million Blotzer stories that are funny. Yeah, we'll talk about him another time some more. But I did not get the Kiss Destroyer Walmart set. I do want it. Those things all sold out awfully fast. They made these Funko Pop. It's a record on one side, and then it's the pops on the side. These are big display things, and I did want them. I guess Walmart ran a Black Friday sale early, African American Friday. If you're sensitive, I want to make sure that we're politically correct and don't get canceled. I am showing off the Christmas Vacation because it is just about the holiday season. This was an FYE exclusive. It is long out of print. It's one of my favorite Funko Pops. Sorry, there's a light show in my house. I'm planning it for my funeral in case I want to stream it. But anyway, I thought I'd show this one off. This is from July 2017, and yeah, Clark and Eddie. So we're kicking off the holiday season. I'm excited. I also want to mention that on Tuesday, a lot of people watching. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm always hesitant to do this because I think, hold on, Tobias Forge, $5 super sticker. This is so great. Thank you so much, Tobias. I am a fan of your music. I am sporting the Ghost Frankenstein shirt today. I'm a fan of everything Monsters, Frankenstein, and heavy metal and Ghost. And it's an honor that you're here. Last week, Vito Bratta came in and dropped the super sticker. I'm happy to see the super sticker, by the way. Not exactly sure what it means, but anyway, I will be going to see Ghost on tour. They are, as Tobias, you'll be there with Volbeat. I don't really care about Volbeat so much, but I will be there to see Ghost. All right, let's see what we got here. I love your show. It makes me happy. I have anxiety and depression every time I watch your show. Makes me feel well. That's kind of the ultimate compliment, to be honest, because I suffer from anxiety and depression myself. I have for many years, and I think any outlet is a good outlet. I'm going to tell you why. Where this kind of comes about for me is that when I was a kid, I listened to a guy named Howard Stern. I grew up in New York City, and before I'd go to school in the morning, I'd put on Howard Stern. And then he had the Channel 9 show, which featured a soundtrack by the band Fifth Angel. I had Ken Mary on the drummer for Fifth Angel. And I felt like Howard Stern was like my buddy. I'm an only child. I was always kind of, whatever. And I like David. I would listen to David Letterman at night. It'd sneak up 12:30 when he came on 12:30 on NBC, the late night show. And then I'd get up in the morning and listen to Howard. And Howard used to always joke. He says, "It's your old radio buddy, Howard Stern." And as Howard Stern got older, I got older. I'm not as old as him, but it's fun to hear somebody that you've sort of grown with. I didn't need it when Howard would talk about the porn stars and the strippers, although as a young person it was fun. But I liked when he just talked about what he did for the weekend. I liked when he talked about what movies he saw. I liked when he talked about what he's eating and all these things. And I found it interesting and I found it very real. And so aside from the interviews that I do, I thought I'll come on here and yeah, Fifth Angel, Midnight Love. Yeah, great song. Thank you, Vicky. Yeah, absolutely. And underrated band. And I thought, if other people enjoy this, we'll put a little community together and we'll all kind of hang out and you guys can be part of it. I would like to get you guys on the show. So if there's anyone watching and you have the guts and you would like to make an appearance on the show, by all means, I'll send you a link and you'll be right here in the video chat, just like Miguel, who didn't show up tonight. You guys can have his gig. I'm looking right now to see if where he's at. But anyway, so yeah, I'd love to have you guys appear on the show with me because it's your show too. Look, we're all having fun. When I was young and I was seeing some of the people I interview, I never thought I'd have that opportunity. So it's fun for me to put out your questions as well. And, again, I'm a fan of most of these people. Not always. Sometimes I pick somebody because I think they have an interesting story. I'm not always a fan. People think I'm an expert on all these bands, and I'm not. Some of them I'm sort of faking. But so Mike Varney, I get this question every day. When are you going to have Mike Varney on? You know what? I text Mike Varney constantly. We're going to have to ambush him and just call him on the show. He doesn't like to do interviews. He's a quiet guy, blah, blah, blah. He says if he ever does it, it would be for me. But he doesn't want to. I think he's also worried about offending people, which, Yngwie Malmsteen's an asshole. Everybody knows that. That I do message him all the time, and he's a nice guy, and he lives here in Las Vegas. So we will see. Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, a lot of people want him. He would tell great stories. He's told me great stories himself constantly. And then I should point out that DeVito brought a super chat, lest we think that was a real person. I believe it was someone having some fun. Chris Holmes. Everybody wants Chris Holmes too. I've reached out to his wife, poor woman, and we'll see what happens. No response. I've worked with Chris Holmes as well. I can tell you some of the best stories about Chris Holmes. I don't know if they'll let Chris Holmes back in America. The stories are so good. He played on a Sinners record, Sin City Sinners band I created and own. He played on one of our records. He submitted a track on a flash drive, his guitar playing. And we sent Brent Muscat, the guitar player at the time, over to get the track. And Chris Holmes was being arrested or detained by police at the time that he handed it over. So, Giant Space Monkey asks, what was Johnny Ramone's favorite horror movie? Now, I don't know if you're testing me, if this is a trivia question, or if you want me to guess, but I know the answer because I've spoke to Johnny Ramone. Johnny Ramone's favorite horror movie is The Bride of Frankenstein. He liked a lot of horror movies, but he considered that his favorite. I think it's a great movie as well. Randy Piper. Randy Piper, I know well, but he's also been MIA, not responding. These guys in Wasp. Steve Riley, Randy Piper, Chris Holmes, and they should get Johnny Rod to play bass, and they should get a singer. And they should go out and call it Wasp 40 or whatever, something similar. And they would be, and it would be great. Someone's saying Chris has great Eddie Van Halen stories. I wish I could tell you his Slash stories, but it is so politically incorrect that I don't think I could tell it. I would have to no. So if you guys ever run into me out in the world, which is rare because I doubt I don't go out very often anywhere, I'll tell you that story. Let's see. Someone wants to talk. Great interview with Steve Riley. Excellent explanation of his side of the Guns drama. Quite an interview with Phil. Painted a different story. You aren't a Phil fan. What's missing? Your view. What's missing is Phil's hair. That's what's missing. Um, I don't like Phil Lewis because he's a jerk and he's a big mouth and he's a shit starter. And I don't like people like that. I was a fan of LA Guns, but he's got a big mouth and he sticks it where it doesn't belong. And as far as I'm concerned, he can go fuck himself. Thank you, G-Man. Much appreciated. And that's a fitting super sticker, a demon super sticker. You guys got to get in this super sticker thing. So back to what I was saying. I get so distracted easily. I see a shiny object, and but I would have Tracy on if he wanted to give his side of the story. I don't think he does. I think those guys like to stay quiet, and I think Phil's in the news lately because he's got to bash Vince Neil. He's got to bash everyone who's more famous than him to try to get a headline, and it's just so stupid. Yeah. I also don't really think that he's doing anything interesting these days. And so that is that. Let me, I don't know about you guys, but I don't really like going out these days. Ever since this pandemic happened, going back into the real world has been a strange thing. Are you guys going through that too? It's not that I'm scared to get sick. I'm scared that I hate people, I've been training my whole life to not deal with anyone, and now I'm home, and I got the Amazon Prime, and they bring the food to my door. I don't even have to see them. How great! And so I don't really like to go out. I did venture out to see a little local band play a couple of weeks ago. What was the name of that? The Rolling Stones, and I just happened to have front row tickets. Not to brag, but I did have front row tickets, and I'm going to tell you. And then a band called Måneskin opened, and Michelle, my much younger friend, she told me about this band. She told me this band's going to be huge, and I told her I never heard of it. It's ridiculous, and that's because I'm a cranky old man. And they opened, and they're very good. Italian band. They were really cool. I mean, different, but cool. And you listen, the Rolling Stones know how to pick talent. They had Guns N' Roses and all kinds of other bands open for them. So I went to see the Stones. And they were not checking the Vax cards at this venue. And I'm not turning this into a political thing, but I would have liked them to check. I kept my mask on. Most people did, though, to be honest, at least in my section. And I don't know what people think of things. I don't want anybody's germs. I don't want the flu. I don't want. I was sick for a month, with colds, and so. Yeah, I get. Listen, everyone has their own personal choice. I'm not going to get into whether or not people should do things. That's not my place. But I would rather stay with people who happen to maybe. I don't know. Let's not get too into it. But so this show it was amazing. Rolling Stones is the greatest band of all time. They are the winners. People say the Beatles, the Stones. There's no argument. Maybe it's just because of longevity. The Stones are the ultimate survivors. There is no other band. I saw the Sex Pistols a bunch of years back. It was their last American show. And I said, this is the Rolling Stones of punk. To see them is amazing. And I don't know if it'll ever happen again. But the actual Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger is he's 78 years old. And I thought, he's older than my dad. You think my dad is going to duck walk and dance on stage? No way. I could barely get out of bed in the morning, and wow, here's a super sticker. Hold on. Trip Lynn, thank you so much. I wish you had something to promote. I feel like when you guys get one of these super stickers that does support the channel and feed my cat, that you should promote something or talk about something or tell me about yourself. So Trip, if you want to tell me about yourself, please do. By the way, I'm reading all your comments, but I'm finishing this thing about, and thank you again. But this Rolling Stones, it's phenomenal. You don't even have to be a hardcore fan. This band they're the survivors, and it was sad that Charlie's gone, but they got Steve Jordan playing drums, who's great. And I talk a lot about scabs in bands. I don't like to go see a band and then see the other guys running up front and dancing and headbanging and flipping their hair. I don't like that. Just do your thing. Stay in the back and let the real guys up front. You know what I'm saying? I'm not naming bands, but you know what I mean. This guy, Daryl Jones, the bass player for the Rolling Stones, he's been the bass player for the Rolling Stones for over 30 years. He's good. He just chills by the drums, plays his bass. He's a really good bass player. That drummer's great. No one's trying to pretend they're the Rolling Stones. When the show starts, the 3 Rolling Stones come out. They're up front. That's the way it should be. When I see Guns N' Roses, and I think those other guys are good, and girls, lady, woman, whatever you call chicks nowadays, to be politically correct. The broad in the back who plays the keyboards or something and dances. But Slash, Duff, and Axl, when you see the 3 of them up front, that's the way it should be. So anyway, I was excited to go see the Rolling Stones. And I was excited. I thought, I just don't want to see a single person. I don't want to talk to anyone. I need to get a better mask, like just wearing a little black mask on my face is not enough. I need like a Michael Myers mask, I went to the post office right in the middle of the pandemic, and someone recognized me, and I said, I got to get a better costume. This is ridiculous. I just look like the same idiot with the black mask. So it's weird going out right now. And no Izzy, no soul. Well, listen, I'm with you. I am with you. Izzy Stradlin, that's the man. Yeah, I see a lot of people agreeing with me. And some people are rushing out to do things, to go to the local pub and see some shit cover band. I'm over it. I'm over it. I got my records here at home. By records, I mean my cell phone. Got a whole fucking catalog of music. And yeah, I just don't want to. I've lost interest in a lot of things, but I like doing this. I like chatting, and I'm going to venture out into the world next week. This is a plug. Next week, Tuesday, November 23rd, I will be live from an undisclosed location on the Las Vegas Strip. It is my birthday. I will be 70 years old. I know I look pretty good for my age. But I will be celebrating, and I'm going to show you some really cool stuff, and we're going to have a really good time. And I won't even go see Scotty play. Scotty, who's in my own band. We had a nice lunch together, just him and I. But yeah, but I do support him if people do want to go out. Who am I fooling? I wouldn't go see Scotty. But anyway, I agree with you. There's better stuff on YouTube. The great bands are gone. You know what I mean? As much as I like bands, some new stuff, most of it I don't need to see Led Zeppelin Jr. open for Metallica. Greta Van Halen. Get out of here! You couldn't pay me to watch that shit. And yes, all of a sudden we have to entertain each other and ourselves. And I like it. But like I said, I'm an only child. I grow up. I hated other kids, and I didn't want to go to summer camp. I couldn't stand it, so I went to Florida with my grandparents every summer, and I would just watch old television. I don't know if it was just their television, but they didn't get any modern channels. Every channel had Green Acres, Dennis the Menace, and Mr. Ed, and Get Smart, and The Odd Couple and The Honeymooners, and I got hooked. And everything I learned came from watching television, and it finally came in handy. All this listening to rock and roll music, and people saying that you'll get nowhere doing this. My father telling me I got to get a real job. It's funny you say that, because I say that about this Greta Vanderfleet, that Kingdom Come already ripped off Led Zeppelin. If I wanted to see Led Zeppelin 2, I would see them. It's stupid. Scotty's show is this like fill in the blank? I don't get it. Are we filling in the blank? Scotty's show is. It's like, are we playing password? What happened, Peter? You got to give me more than that. There's no more musicians for young people looking through. Slash, Slash is the king, I think, for these young people. I mean, I think he's a guitar player. He's great. I don't like his music outside Guns N' Roses. I don't think it's very interesting. he was corny, trying to be hip or whatever. I don't know, but he's obviously the guy. I mean, kids love him. He's the modern, Brian May or whatever. Yeah, Ace Frehley, I'm seeing a lot of. He's a little bit of a mess, but I like Ace. I've met him a bunch of times. He's always been very nice. I think he'd be an okay interview, although he might only talk to Eddie Trunk. But he's a dope a little bit too, getting into politics on stage. Why do that? Who cares? But anyway, so I've really enjoyed being at home, and the holidays are coming, and I have a few people in my life. I do believe Ace is clean. I'll tell you a quick funny Ace story. When out Ace, I'm on the strip, and I see Ace at the Palazzo Hotel. I'm just hanging out, and I go, "Wow, look at Ace!" I go, "I got to take a picture with Ace." I go over and he tells me, he goes, "Look, I'm going to take this picture with you, but hey, don't post it on that on the Facebook or anything, because I'm not supposed to be with this woman." All right. And he was so nice, and the woman stepped aside and and me and Ace had a nice picture, and I'd never posted it, but now I told the story and outed him because Ace is no longer with that other woman, and blah 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 blah. Yes, someone's saying, if you're going to venture out, see the classic bands. I can tell you right now, go see Roger Waters, go see Paul McCartney, go see the Rolling Stones every chance you can. It's a little expensive, but if you can figure it out, go. These are the bands. We are not going to see them again. Time's running out. Time is running out, and don't sleep on it. There's so many shows that I was like, I should have went. And then there's some stuff I saw. I hate the Eagles. I'm not an Eagles fan. But a friend of mine got me really good tickets to see like their 9-hour show. And it was like, you couldn't look at your phone. And people would yell at you. If you look at your phone one more time, I'm going to throw you out. And I was like, oh, please throw me out. It's like, when I think of 1977, I think of the punk rock movement. I don't think of Hotel California. Could not be a whiter band, but I know a lot of people love them, but it's not for me. But you know what? I'm grateful that I saw them live and that Joe Walsh was cool. The rest of it was just like, oh, this is easy. Easy question. Kansas versus Boston. We could all take this on together. You guys can say who you think wins, but for me, Boston hands down. Boston is one of the greatest of all time. G-Man agrees with Boston. You can hear my New York accent, Boston. And but Scott says Kansas. Listen, Kansas might be a little more underrated. I remember I was one of my exes. I was watching a Kansas concert at night, and she was totally asleep. And she woke up and she said, "What is this awful noise raping my ears?" And then went back to bed. I think she was talking about Kansas. Robert says, Jamie likes Kansas. Michelle is saying Boston, and Michelle makes better decisions than me most of the time. Robert says Boston. Will says Boston. Listen, Kansas is given a good fight, though. I thought this would be Boston all the way. Well, I get it. I mean, Kansas is very influential in the beginning of Prague and all those things. But for me, it's Boston. Hey, what about, speaking of Prague, what about Queensryche? Have you guys heard the news about this residency here in Las Vegas? The Scorpions are going to do a residency, hopefully. It's in March, and they kicked Queensryche's no longer on the residency. It was going to be Queensryche and the Scorpions, and now it's going to be Skid Row. I don't know how Aerosmith got in this, but all right. It's going to be Aerosmith and the Aerosmith. It's going to be Skid Row, fake Skid Row, or whatever you want to call it. I shouldn't say that. I need to have those guys on the show. Now, who don't you know? I don't know who they are. Forgive me, I'm from Vegas. You don't know who Boston is. You don't know who Kansas is. You got to give me more information, folks. So, and yes, I think go see the Scorpions because they're old as dirt. And yeah, Genesis. If you're a fan of Genesis, you better go. Phil Collins is in really bad shape. I hear it's very sad. So what happened to Queensryche? $1 million question. Well, it looks like Scott Rockenfield is going to sue those guys, and there's a rumor that he's going to get back with Jeff Tate. And so who knows? Right now, the only members of Queensryche are Michael Wilton and Eddie Jackson. Hey, here's a good one. The Go-Go's. I am a fan of the Go-Go's. What a great band. And yes, they were originally punk. Joe, people don't realize. They don't know the Go-Go's was punk as it came. And in my interview with Kira Rossler from Black Flag, she talks about how they didn't know how to play their instruments or anything and how they first met. And they were a punk band. And Belinda Carlisle had some story. She was going to be in some other famous band. Maybe it was the Germs, but she got mono, and really great stuff. And love the Go-Go's. They're playing here in Vegas. I think I'm going to see them. Again, I've seen them a lot, and I've worked with Kathy Valentine. She came out with the Sinners. Seeing Ghost this year, I am as well. Love Ghost. That's as modern as I get. Skid Row without Sebastian Bach is slightly ridiculous. I like those guys. I like Scotty. You know that he's difficult, but I don't know. I don't know what to say. Yeah. Share the money. Get out there and play. Hold on. I highlighted the wrong one. This is the one I wanted. There are so many people in this chat room right now, and I am so happy to talk to you. You come on here and you feel like you're naked. At least I am from the waist down. When I see the politics trolls, I'm kind of like, if you like or dislike a politician so much that you get passionate or enraged by it, you got a problem. Because there's no politician on either side, well, there might be one, but I'm not going to name them, who gives a fuck about you, who cares that my insulin, I'm a diabetic, is cheaper in Canada and everywhere, but in America we're getting ripped off. And so anyway, I don't trust the politicians, if you know what I mean. Just an uninteresting topic, and that's what I try to do on the show. Hey, wake up, Russell. Very good point. Wake up, which means the Great Cat. I have spoken to the Great Cat. This is big news. We should have started the show off. The Great Cat and I, she prefers to be called the Great Cat. We have touched base. That's all we've touched so far. And I said, Great Cat, the people either love you or hate you, and they want you back though. You have to come out of it. You have to do a real interview. You can't just phone in some video. You have to come on the show and tell me the truth. Tell me how you came up with the Great Cat. Tell me where you live and what it's like. Do you ever put on clothes? And can we see what you're wearing? I'm a fan of the Great Cat. I love talking to people about it. I discussed the Great Cat at length with Johnny Monaco in our upcoming interview. And blah, blah, blah. Great Cat will be back, I promise. And we're going to get the exclusive. We're going to get stuff that no one else could get out of her. I see someone talking about seeing Stryper open for Skid Row. It's funny because Sebastian Bach hates Michael Sweet. And I will also let you know that Michael Sweet will be coming up very soon. I spoke to his people. I don't mean Christians. I mean people who work with him. And he will be here. And I like Stryper. And they've always been very nice to me. Obviously, I'm very close with Oz Fox. But I would like to talk to Michael. What do we got here? This is a long one. A lot of reading here. Hold on. Let me look intelligent for just a second while we do this. Put my glasses on. Hey, Jason, I love the interviews. I know in some of the interviews there was feedback. Oh, Jesus, you're one of these? Headphones will help. Both of you wearing them. Well, thank you, Ambient Dreams. Are you selling a line of headphones? I put my glasses on for this. When you interview these people, some of these people are in the back of a fucking truck. Some people are in a tree. Some people are in their pool. Not everyone has a setup. See, I've got the state-of-the-art microphone right here that I never show anyone. This is the S146 dual master blaster. But not everyone has that. I don't wear the headphones because I don't want to look like an asshole. The guys with the headphones, Good morning, everybody. Time and temperature 9 a.m. coming at you on a summer. I don't do that. I don't do that. I'm talking to you, so I don't wear the headphones. And those are older interviews where there's sound problems. And again, these people, most of them are on their phone, and it's not even a good phone. Some of these people are in a tree with a can and 2 strings. It's a miracle. I'm not interviewing these people by messenger pigeon. So listen, occasionally shit happens. I feel like we haven't had any major feedback problems lately, and blah, 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 as they say. Politicians are full of shit. Of course they are. Hands down, the best rock podcast. I appreciate that. Let's keep it growing. Let's keep it growing. Messenger pigeon, yes. Sometimes I just click on things by mistake. Listen, this I agree with. I do. I need a production manager pushing faders. I need something. I'm just sitting here like a jackass, trying to be entertaining, begging for tips to buy an iPad. I mean, So, Brian, thank you. Last week, hold on. This seems like a serious question. Last week, you mentioned you had the scoop on Dizzy Dean Davidson. What's the details? Ignore if you shared already and missed. No, I did not share. Dizzy Dean Davidson. So everyone, I was kind of in jest about reuniting Britney Fox. I mean, how the fuck am I going to reunite Britney Fox? Although I have reunited a lot of people. Most of them are ungrateful pricks. So a bunch of people gave me his home phone number, or cell phone probably, and his address. I'm not going to go to the guy's house, but I'm thinking about messaging him, texting him and saying, hey, I hear he's very private, and I hear he gets pretty angry. You should watch the interview with Johnny D if you haven't seen it, where we discuss it. I'll text him and see what he says, but I think he's going to say lose my number. So I think I heard that he's had some tragedy in his life, and I think he's been a bit reclusive, and I would respect that. But I'll still ask of who are these people you're talking about? I'm lost. You got to give me more than that. You got to give me more. Much love for what you do. Thank you, Ralph. And yes, Dizzy needs to wake up. The Great Cat. Maybe I should have the Great Cat call. We need to get a Great Cat sound drop that we can play throughout the show. Let's make a note of that. You guys are my production staff. Make a note of this. We're going to get a Great Cat wake up sound drop, and then every now and then I can just play that. Can we do that? I'm making a note myself. Yeah. Hold on a second. Great Cat wake up. Oh, hold on. Where was I? Great Cat wake up sound drop. All right. I think we had another good meeting. Shotgun Messiah. I hear it all the time. So find them for me. Come on. You guys can do this. Tony, if you know where they are, find them. They're not American. They're Harry K. Cody lives in some other country. Let's find them. Let's find these fine folks. Excuse me. Talk amongst yourselves while I take a sip of my beverage. I run a real business thing, and I got other things I do in my life. And they take a lot of time. I got some other shit going on, and so it's really hard to do all this by myself. I'm working on it, though. I need a little bit of a team. I need a producer around here. Coney Island High and Continental. I went to the Continental more than Coney Island High. And I'll never forget going to see Ross the Boss of Man One Dictators. He played the Continental, and his band called the Spinatras, which is a great band that I recommend. And then Joey Ramone, who lived across the street, just comes walking over. You'd see him in New York every day. Now you think about what a fucking legend Joey Ramone is. But in New York, you saw him every day. Then, which goes back to go see your legends. Great Cat Funko Pop. Now you're using your head. Russell, thank you. Good idea. We got to get right on that. Wake up. What's the question here? I'm sorry. I'm enjoying reading with you guys. What was the biggest challenge? Who are you into when you co-manage a band like Rat? Well, I mean, the biggest challenge was that I was working with an idiot who thought he had the name Rat and did not. And, the story for those who don't know is that Sin City Sinners, my band that I put together, I had a lineup playing in Las Vegas, and I invited Bobby Blotzer to be a guest for the night. He's done it with us before. This was the second time. And he, at the end, he was obnoxious and belligerent as usual. But then he called me, and he said he wanted to use my band and call them Rat. And I wanted to make my guys some money. I knew it was a bad idea. I was working with Winger at the time, traveling with them, and Scotty was traveling with LA Guns at the time, and or just stopped. He just finished, and maybe I just finished too. I don't remember, but we knew that this was a joke, and we knew that it was a stupid idea, and it was. And one day I'm going to get Scotty on to do a whole show. CC or Bobby. I'd like to have Bobby on because I never see that guy talk to anybody about anything. It's a tricky thing doing these interviews. So you have a couple people. You have people who are just happy to talk and tell their story, and they like to be on a show that has good numbers, and thankfully we do. And then you have people who have something to promote, and maybe they wouldn't talk to me necessarily. Maybe it's like maybe Michael Sweet wouldn't come on, although he's a nice guy. I think he probably would. But Stryper is trying to fund the documentary. Well, shit, who are you going to talk to? Well, you're going to talk to the guy who's got the most subscribers. And how long have we been doing this today? We're at an hour and 7. Bill, I think you're making sense, but that's not Bill. Jason, you mentioned people are talkers or stupid, but don't explain why you have that opinion. Well, Chris, give me an example. I'd be happy to tell you why I think people are stupid or talkers. Have I ever not exactly told you what I think? Have I held back? Am I being vague? Do I talk cryptically? No. The pandemic has taught me to be less patient with people in public, not worry about getting sick, just annoyed, make me short. Listen, when you're from New York City, walking is such a big deal, and I can't stand when people stop and look around. And you know how many times I wish Godzilla just took care of the city. You know what I mean? Because people can't walk. I got to walk on the air. I got places to go, people not to see. Anyway, yeah, I'm with you. Oh, I'm impatient. Now, Trip is back. Trip, thank you so much. You were more than generous. And listen, we're right now. I got like a cheap laptop, but if we keep going, we're there. Just a quick thank you for doing this. I'm sending this simply because I feel so damn guilty for watching your work for free the past few months. Well, thank you, Trip. You don't have to feel that way, but it is definitely appreciated. I am trying to keep this as a business. So Trip, if you enjoy this entertainment and if you enjoy what I'm about to do and these talk to Chris here, I hope you do. Phil Lewis and Bobby Blotzer. Oh, fuck. Chris, what happened? Where you been? You just joining me? What happened? Come on. Wake up. I told you, Bobby Blotzer. There's an interview I did on another show. I talked for 1 hour. I didn't let them ask one question. The show wasn't very good anyway. I get more listeners. Anyway, but I went on and I explained all this. Bobby Blotzer's a scumbag. Bobby Blotzer called me anti-Semitic, racist names, and it didn't even make sense, to be honest. He, not just me, did it to other people. He ripped me off. He ripped other people off. He has a history of violence towards women. That is what I've heard. Again, he's a litigious scumbag. So I want to point out that you have to go and say, I believe this to be true. But he's a horrible, horrible person. And by the way, I can back everything I say up with fact. So don't sue me. He's one of the worst people I ever met. Alcoholic, all these things. I say it all in these interviews. And there's much more personal, deep things about it. So the guy is a piece of shit. And that is why I don't, that's why he can go fuck himself. Phil Lewis, I've said this already. During a time when I was going through something, he insulted a post I put up. And what I was going through was very serious. He's a big mouth. He tried to start some shit with me. I would be happy to knock the wig off his head at any time. That is why I don't like Phil Lewis. Unless he wants to apologize and get his fucking jizz out of the spoon. Yeah. Okay. Does that sum it up for you guys? Do you need more than that? I mean, I'm trying to put on a positive broadcast. You know, I come on here and I try to sit back and tell you guys some fun shit and talk about life. And all you guys want to do is, how come you don't like that scab who plays in the LA Guns? You get what I'm saying. Anyway. Chris, you've only heard me say that Phil's bald. He recently said his hair is natural. Yeah, maybe the hair on his ass is natural. Phil Lewis is wearing a hairpiece. Everybody knows it, please. And if you look now, the new move is to... Why are you talking about this asshole? Why are we talking about this asshole? He sucks, too. He can't sing. All right, what else do you want me to say? All right. This is what happens when you give people this kind of access. You know, when you sit here and you talk to everybody, and I read all of these comments, you get a lot of bullshit. Which thought do you want me to finish? And people are, oh my God. What do you like about living in Vegas? You know what I like about living in Vegas? I'm in this little gated community, and it's really quiet, and I don't see anybody, and I don't hear anybody. Out this window, it's silence, except for today when they fucking chainsaw that were cutting down the trees. But I like Vegas. I used to think New York City was the 24-hour city. Bullshit. Vegas is a 24-hour city. Vegas is open. New York is not as open as Vegas. And anyway, yeah, it's I like it. I don't live on the Strip. I don't live in a hotel. I don't go there all the time. But it is sometimes like living in an adult Disneyland. And you know what else I love about Las Vegas? It's affordable. I'm not the big advocate for Las Vegas. You know, I don't like go see the hockey team and shit. But you know, best vegan pizza in Vegas. That's a good question. There was a place at the Mandalay Bay that was so good. I think it went out of business, but they were amazing. And then there's a place called Pizza Company that is not too far from me. And I think that's what it's called. You message me, I'll get you the link. But that is the best vegan pizza I've had in this town. And it feels like a real New York slice of pizza, you know. Anyway. So, yeah, you know, I'm sorry. I'm trying to highlight your comments, but so question about what casino has the best buffet. This is a very topical question because, you know, most buffets have been closed for so long. I enjoy the Cosmopolitan. That is my favorite hotel because the Hard Rock is no longer in existence. It's now the Virgin. It's amazing that they have a place called the AVN Awards, the Porno AVN Awards at a place called the Virgin. The only thing Virgin about it is the name. But the Cosmo is the rocking spot. That is my place. I like to go there, and they have a great buffet that's different. But I've had every buffet in this city. The Palace Station, they had a kind of like a divey one, but it was 24 hours. 24 hours. You know, that's what Vegas needed. I used to go there all the time. Cosmopolitan, yes, the Wicked Spoon Buffet. My mother calls it a buffet. I always get annoyed and tell her it's buffet. What is my favorite cereal in the morning? I don't have cereal in the morning. I like those Monster cereals every year, the Count Chocula and the Frankenberry, but I am a diabetic, so I got to be careful with that. Well, here's a friendly question. How are you? I'm fantastic. George, thank you for asking. How are you? Harry K. Cody lives in LA. All right, well, now we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Now, give me his cross streets, and I'll get him on the show. What else we got here? The AVN Awards, yes. You guys know I'm an AVN Award winner, right? I don't often talk about that, but I'm not ashamed to say that I have an AVN Award, and it's in the other room where I would show it to. What current albums are you enjoying? Well, LAMF from Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers, and is that not current? I haven't heard a current record in 100 years. I will say that those Måneskin kids that Michelle recommended, they're good. Have you watched the documentary about Stephen Pearcy? It really sucks to hear about his sickness. First of all, hello, Susie. I like when people share a picture of themselves because then I know who I'm talking to. Susie, yes, I had Stephen Pearcy on the show. You can watch the interview. It's actually very good. We talk all about his illness. He's doing very well. He's a friend of mine. I see he lives here in town. We chat a lot. We've talked about working together. I may do some stuff with him. It just hasn't worked out for me completely yet. But yeah, I've seen it. And Stephen is doing well. And I was touring with him when he was going through that cancer battle, and no one knew. I certainly did not know. I wear a lot of hats. More than one hat. What is your biggest regret as a musician? Can't say I have any. The reason I played music was because I was a manager. I did business. I consider myself a business person. And I worked with a lot of assholes. And at times, people would say something like, well, he doesn't even play an instrument. He gets all his attention. I go, well, you know what? I'll do that too. I'll do that too. No regrets. And I think there'll be a new Sin City Rejects record just around the corner. So no regrets. You can't have regrets on most things, to be honest. And then when you ask me a question, by the way, just like this one, for what production, you got to ask me, because I'm talking so much shit at once and the comments are on a delay. So just ask me a little bit more detailed so I know what we're talking about, because I've just had 9,000 thoughts at once. So if you just help me a little bit. What's the last vinyl record I purchased? I probably got something because I wanted to get it signed or something. I'd have to think about that. It's been a while. I have a great vinyl collection. Maybe I'll show it one day. When I used to do this on Facebook, I used to do this whole show on Facebook, and I showed my vinyl collection, which is actually very impressive. What's this one? I don't know what you're talking about. Do I think Vince Neil's ready for big tour? I think he'll be fine. I think he will rise to the occasion. I know he's gotten lazy and things, and but I think yeah. He played at like an event the other night that I think was supposed to be kept quiet or something, but I think he'll be all right. He'll lose the weight and he'll come. Would I write a song with a great cat? Yeah, of course, absolutely. Listen, genius like that, I'd be fortunate. But I would do it. Yeah, it'd be fun. Great Cat's got a good racket. I like a good racket. I like a good gimmick. I've reached out to Frank Cannon of Tesla, and he didn't call me back. Yeah, Vince gets a hard time, but if we're going to bash Motley Crue, at least Vince is on stage singing. That's more than, there's a lot of tracks on that stage. Some people say Nikki Sixx is playing bass, comes from a laptop. I know he's not singing. The backgrounds are all fake, and there's a lot. The pianos are fake. There's an extra guitar that's fake. So listen, I give Vince credit. I've worked with Vince on a couple events, and he was always nice to me. He might be ready for the 24-hour buffet, though. Yeah. Yes. So we talked about this earlier, Jim, but Queensryche was the opener for that Scorpion show. And at the last second, there's going to be some legal problems. I think Queensryche is about to make some changes. I think you're going to see Jeff Tate and Queensryche again, and maybe a different lineup. And so, yes, now fake Queensryche is out and fake Skid Row is in. I could think of a million bands that would be better than Skid Row or Queensryche for that show. Skid Row fits Scorpions better than Queensryche. Queensryche is a little indulgent, but boring, whatever. Excuse me. I have not watched the Chris Holmes movie yet. And Deborah knew Vince and Tommy. I hope not intimately. I wish Sebastian Bach was back in the band. Yeah, so do I. But who knows? This morning I said, I'm going to text Scotty Hill. I know I'm name dropping, but and I got to get him on. So therefore, I probably shouldn't bash too much. Wow, 125 people have been watching this for the last hour or more. Lot of is it real or Memorex? Yeah, a lot of shit is fake. I will check out this Mean Man Chris Holmes movie. I'll check it out. I get the feeling it's going to be a little bit like I could tell you some Chris Holmes stories. What is a song that you like that you wish you had written? Chinese Rocks, written by Didi Ramon, played by the Heartbreakers and played by the Ramones. Will DeGarmo be back? I would love to interview him. He's a hard guy to find, but that'd be a scoop. I think everybody's looking for him. By everybody, I mean all the jackasses who sit in their house talking to a laptop about hard rock news. I have not been to Pop's Philly cheesesteak on Decatur. I'll have to look into that. I didn't know about it. Miles Kennedy will be a possibility. Could be a possibility. Maybe when he's promoting a solo record or something. Catch my drift. Jason, that's me. Isn't there one Ramon member alive? There's 3 Ramones members alive. 3 that matter. Richie Ramone is alive, who played on my album Death of a Nation. Oh. Which, by the way, you guys can... There's a signed copy of Death of a Nation right there that when I get this new laptop and I can do these here giveaways, that'll go to somebody. Anyway, you can go to Amazon, listen to my record. Richie Ramone played drums on the single I Just Want to Waste Some Time With You, which is also the theme to the show. So he's alive. Marky Ramone is alive, who played on majority of the Ramones records. CJ Ramone is alive, last bass player. And if you really want to be ridiculous, Clem Burke was Elvis Ramone for 2 shows. Okay. Let me try to read these some more. Yeah, see, there you go. Chris knows. When you're not trolling about Phil Lewis, you got some good information. Marky, Richie, CJ, and Elvis, yes. And maybe you'll see some of those guys on here at some point. Whew, I'm trying to keep up with all this. All nights for my moderator to have to go to his dad's house for dinner. Sorry, I'm answering my text messages. I mean, I can multitask. Talk amongst yourselves. All right. Let's see. Did I mention my birthday is Tuesday and that I will be accepting gifts? I'm not too cool. I will be accepting them. And that we're going to do a show from blah, 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 blah. Here's a good one. Todd Kearns, former member of the Sinners, led an amazing band here in Canada in the 90s. Now with Slash, super nice guy, very integrity story. You know this interview possibility? No. But what Jake E. Lee, yeah, we got to get to Jake E. Lee. We'll see. You get now everyone said thank you for the birthday wishes. Please save them for Tuesday. Tune in Tuesday would make me very happy. I would be so I would enjoy seeing all of you. And I'm going to be at a cool place doing some cool things with some cool people and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, there's some, hey, Pete Willis. Oh my God. Pete Willis, you didn't have to do that. Thank you so much. Pete Willis of Original Def Leppard with the $10 super sticker. That's a super sticker. These only the elite are using these super stickers, and Pete Willis, that means the world to me. And please, Pete, I would love to have you on the show. Everyone who leaves a super sticker, I would love to have on. Pete, also, I'm looking for Dennis Stratton. If he doesn't have to leave a super sticker, but I'd love to have him on the show. Ooh, I hate questions like this on the spot. Jason, what's your favorite Kiss song? I like some weird ones. I like the ones that I don't know. I have to think about it. But I like stuff with like Charisma and X-Ray Eyes off Dynasty, like stuff that no one likes. Maybe Rock and Roll Over is my favorite Kiss album, I think. Changes, but I'm probably forgetting. But there's other Kiss songs. I like the King of Nighttime World's a good one. That's a good one. You guys can tell me your favorite Kiss songs. Young and Wasted. Where's Robert Wiggin? Is Robert here? Robert Wiggin played drums for the Rejects and the Sinners one night. The deal was Rejects was opening for the Sinners. And Oz Fox sat in and played guitar. We talk about it in my interview with Oz Fox. I recommend you watch it. And anyway, but our drummer called off, our guitar player called off, and so was me and Scotty. Me and Scotty are kind of the heart of the Sin City Rejects. Love Them and Leave Them is a great one. Great one. Robert, thank you. I'm glad you're still here. I'd like to hear what your favorite Kiss song is, because you play drums in Kiss cover bands, and also you play Eric Carr though as well. So you did a different, you a little bit more original. Flaming Youth is good. Here's a funny one. Of all the versions of Hide Your Heart, which do I like most? I like Bonnie Tyler, because Louis Merlino, my friend Louis Merlino, is singing the backgrounds on it. Although if I was saying rock versions, I would probably say the Ace version of Hide Your Heart is my jam. Hard Luck Woman, good, different one. Creatures, definitely heavy. I like that one. Yes, rest in peace to Lewis, Las Vegas Gene. Sad. I don't like to get into that one too much, but never like to see anyone lose their life. Nice guy. Oz Fox. How is Oz Fox? He had both of his brain surgeries, and he is doing well. He's playing, and not playing, but he's. I think he'll be doing things for Stryper soon, and blah blah blah. And Oz is a miracle. And if there's a reason to have faith, it's Oz Fox. I mean, watch my interview with Oz. He shows his X-rays and explains the two surgery he was going to have, brain surgery, and it seemed like there was a chance that he would be disabled. And he's amazing. He's amazing. But so anyway, yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me see. God of Thunder I like as well. Who can get in touch with you to get a band to open up for Sin City Sinners or the Rejects, etc.? Who can get in touch with you? I think the question should be, who can I get into? It's me. Everything is me. I'm a one-horse trick pony. Sin City Sinners, which I like to call Sin City Sinners All-Stars, because now we've upgraded to stars. The last lineup, which was the best lineup, Jizzy Pearl on lead vocals from Love Hate, Rat, and now Quiet Riot. Rowan Robertson from Dio on guitar. Oz Fox from Stryper on guitar. Blas Elias from Slaughter on drums. And Scotty Griffin from LA Guns. Other than him, all stars. Just kidding. He doesn't watch this shit anyway. He's so busy brushing his hair in the mirror. He'll be on soon. Don't worry. I know you're waiting. So anyway, but in spring, I decided that with the pandemic, it was not the time to branch, to relaunch the Sinners. I don't want to make people who don't want to go out feel like they missed something, or make people feel like they need to. So safety first, and there's no reason. Let's go out when the weather is good, and let's relaunch that. And Sinners will be back. And Rejects, we'll see. Something's gonna happen. But I don't want to just do it for the hell of it. I want to do it right. I don't want to, thankfully for all of you, there's a lot of interest in things I do, and I'm going to have some good stuff. All right. I'm going to wrap this up soon because I feel bad, but we're at an hour and 30. Yeah, Teenage Head, that's a good one. Marky Ramone, yeah. Seems like George Lynch is getting along with Don Dokken. If you watch my interview with George, although they're getting along and playing, read between the lines of what he's saying about whether they make a record or whatever. Do you love me? D, I hardly know you, but, I probably love you. And, of course, you're referring to the Kiss song. Yeah, Oz was your first interview. I would like to hear more people share what their first interview they saw me was. How did you find me? I'd love to hear about that. Plaster Caster, Key Nighttime World, can't go wrong with either one of them. War Machine, written by Bryan Adams, another great one. But yeah, tell me how you found me. How did you find Rowan Robertson? Would be a cool interview. It's funny, Jason. Rowan Robertson has already been on the show with Simon Wright of Dio together. You got to look that one up. Go back and binge. It's a good one. Scotty Griffin is a real estate guru. And Chris, are you dating Phil Lewis? No offense. Or are you related? Every question you have somehow has Phil Lewis. And he likes to be called Philip Lewis. Do you have a mustache like his also? That the Village people look? Just curious. Yes, Scotty Griffin is a real estate guru, and yes, occasionally he dresses up like Paul Stanley. I think he just does it because he likes to dress. Whatever happened to Brent Muscat? It's a good question. I used to be friends with that guy, though. But I don't know what happened to him. Don't know. He was in Faster Pussycat. I know that. And I believe that Faster Pussycat was better when he was in it. I don't know these Brent Muscat impersonators that they have. Josh Allen Scott. Yes. You played in a band with him in Atlanta. I'm sorry to hear that. He had his moments. Mark Slaughter. Mark Slaughter does not live in Las Vegas. Hasn't lived in Las Vegas in quite some time. I think he lives in Nashville. But we've talked about it. So if people are going to tell me, Michael Grant. Yeah, Michael Grant told somebody I know that he would do it, but he will not speak about LA Guns. What's the point? Chris would be very upset to hear what Michael Grant has to say about LA Guns. Blas Elias has been on the show. It's a great interview. So, you're saying that's your first. That's how you found me. Well, thank you. I'm glad that was a good one. I like that one. Slaughter lives in Nashville. That's not true. Mark Slaughter. Yes. Stacey, I think you meant Mark Slaughter, right? Because Dana Strum and Blas Elias live here in fabulous Las Vegas. A lot of people want to see John Sykes. Found you because you interviewed my friend Andrew Freeman. Well, great, William. Thank you. And Andrew Freeman is a great guy and very talented. I like him. Done a lot of work with him as well. The Spoon speaks for itself. Hard to idolize a guy in the Spoon. Wow, Greg Ginn is here. Holy cow. It's an all-star show. My favorite band is the Ramones. And then Deborah says Brent is on my friends list. Well, he used to be on my friends list too. But then shit happens. I was watching interviews of musicians one day and saw you pop up in the feed. Clicked on it to watch the feed. And it was really good. Followed you ever since. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I'm glad that people are finding it like that. And like, I feel like the trolling gets ridiculous sometimes. This show is different. And I want to always make that point. When you watch my interviews, the interview is about the guest. It's not about my opinions. Sometimes if I know the person, I will relate and talk about how I know them and this and that and give some thoughts. But for the most part, I think, this is about me. So you don't have to watch this. It's not required viewing. If you like to hear real talk and real opinions, which are mine, they don't represent the opinions of everybody, then you watch this. But if you just want to see interviews, watch the interviews. I hope that made sense. Did you like Faster Pussycat's version of You're So Vain? Yeah, I thought it was good. Days of the New, I don't know so well. Maybe we should call it Days of the Old now. Johnny Kelly, a lot of people found that. That was one of the first ones. Johnny Kelly, very nice guy. He also played on my record, Death of a Nation, played on a song called On the Darkest Night. And Typo Negative, I love Typo Negative. Blah, 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 blah. So thank you for finding it. That was an early one. He did me a favor by doing it. A lot of people ask him about Michael Grant. Michael Grant is from Queens. I had no idea. Any idea who fired him? I bet you it was a guy who ejaculates in spoons, wears a wig, and has a Village People mustache. I'm just trying to be vague. I don't know, but I don't think Michael Grant has anything nice to say about certain people. Wow, hey, look at this. Crawling Wind. It sounds like a haiku or something. The first interview was Jean Beauvoir of Plasmatics. That's a cool one. I'm glad that you found it. I like to see where people found things, and that was a good one. And what else we got here? Do you know Jeff Blando from Slaughter Vince Neil? I wouldn't say I know him. I met him a bunch of times. He played with the Sinners before. He's a nice guy. He's a very talented guy. But I wouldn't say wow, look at this. A Faster Pussycat tribute band called Bastard Jack. How cool is that? Talking about the third Faster Pussycat record, Whipped. Rest in peace, Brett Bradshaw, drummer of that one who died. Faster Pussycat themselves is kind of a Faster Pussycat tribute band now, featuring Tammy Down. See, I don't have to do that. I don't have to prepare so much. I'm sorry you had a bad experience with Jizzy. A lot of people say these kind of things. Jizzy is just I know him. He's a very nice guy. We were texting this morning. He always makes me laugh. He can be misunderstood. He also doesn't completely understand fandom. He's not really a fan of things, and he sometimes can come off to people as a prick. I don't think he is, but I know I can see how other people sometimes think that. Carlos Cavazzo, that was a huge one. Carlos Cavazzo was at like 72,000 views. That interview has gone through the roof, and I am the only interview he has done. Here's Jimmy Page. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Yeah, Jason, interviews are great. I appreciate that. I'm not sure when Jimmy Page became an old Chinese woman, but hey, he's still a legend. That selling your soul to Satan, though, maybe didn't work out. Thank you. I try. Some people say I cut people off. In the beginning, I had a lot of jackasses, give me advice. This is how you have to do it if you're going to succeed. And you say you got to do this, here, listen here. You need this kind of microphone, and you gotta have a better delivery. You can't just lay back, And now those assholes went away now because they realized that this channel works. Okay, hold on. Jim wants to know the upcoming guest, and I will recap that for you, Jim. Excuse me. The spectrum of your guests is what I really like. Thank you. And that is what I like the most. When I put on some of the punk rock people, they don't get the biggest hits because my audience is a hard rock, heavy metal audience. I understand it. I like to branch out. And that's why we're going to have some actors. We've had some actors. I've had actors from The Karate Kid. I've had Courtney Gaines, legendary actor, who was in Back to the Future. He was in Children of the Corn. Those interviews don't get as popular. We're going to work on that. We're going to work on that together. You guys we're going to learn about different types of people. Sometimes we got to think about more than Vito Bratta and Warren DeMartini. We got to think outside the box. Speaking of punk rock interviews, Steve Broy of Mentors is coming very soon. Johnny Monaco of Enough is Enough is coming very soon. These interviews are done. And if you sign up for my Patreon, you can watch them before anybody else. And I recommend it. And I'm going to send everyone a Patreon Christmas gift this year. If I didn't say that already, sign up and you are going to get a Christmas present. So back to those interviews are coming up. Rob Affuso from Skid Row is on the books. Cher Ross from Vixen is on the books. Michael Sweet from Stryper is being worked out right now. And then I got some stuff I can't talk about. Good stuff, though, I promise, but I can't talk about it. But there's going to be some new branding and a new, really good guests and things like that. My first interview was probably Carlos Faber's Kira Rossler. Well, that's great. Listen, Kira Rossler was such a great interview. But a lot of people don't have the patience. And even if you're not a fan, she's got a great story. I would have Harley from the Cro-Mags, of course. Yeah. I would love to have some hardcore New York people. Jason McMaster was really popular. I underestimated him. He wanted to do it really early in the morning. I don't like to get up in the morning. And anyway, luckily he talked a lot and but people loved it. I think he did really well. And I knew Dangerous Toys. I didn't realize the career he had. So Ron C is talking about how he had knee surgery, total replacement, and found my channel. And so, and I hope you're doing well. But I like that people. I like that people. I'm happy to pass some time or waste some time. I met Tim Kelly at Electric Ladyland Studios, which is Jimi Hendrix's studio. Name drop Jimi Hendrix in New York City. I didn't know him, but I talked to him a couple of times. Seemed like a nice guy. I got some interesting stories about him that I can't tell though. You need to watch Michael Grant's performance of Purple Rain. What a filler track for Phil and Tracy to freshen up, and he literally stole each show. I've seen Michael Grant play Purple Rain live with the LA Guns. I personally didn't like it. I mean, he's talented, but I didn't think it belonged in an LA Guns show, even though maybe it was to give the old timers a break. I thought it was dumb. If you guys are familiar, Phil said some really horrible racist things when Prince died. Really, really just terrible shit. You can Google it, but I wouldn't waste your time. And that's because he's a, whatever. Okay. The Nerve Ensemble. Hey, Jason, great to see you back. Did you happen to find out more about Joey C. Adams, Adam Hamilton's from LA Guns, was in the band on bass, I think? I did not. I'll have to do some research, and because you were so generous, I will make sure that I get on it. Hold on, let me get my assistant. And Joey C. Adam Hamilton. Okay. Noted. Holy shit. We're getting a lot of questions, and we have 150,000 people watching. Good impression, brother. Not sure which impression it was, but thank you. I do a lot of impressions. I'm a man of many voices. Okay. Hey, I was thinking about this one. Niels Lozauer. I think he would be good. Yeah, I think he'd be good. Someone send me a message. Remind me. Niels Lozauer, photographer. I worked with him. He photographed Fake Rat. I don't know why, but oh Jesus, I'm even missing all the generous people. Watched your interview with Eddie Trunk, and then Oz interview. Been a fan since. I never liked Stryper, but a fan now. That's a great way to look at it. I wasn't really a huge Stryper fan. I mean, I knew some of the songs. I actually think their later records are maybe better than the popular ones. But when I was young, I didn't get the fascination with Stryper. Not because of their religious thing, just because it just wasn't necessarily for me. But I can't. I bet it'd be nice. Michael Sweet's going to come on, and I want to get in with the big guy. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me while I take a sip of this frosty beverage. I was going to answer someone's question, but Robert Wiggin. Mark Weiss has been on the show already. Ross Halfin and Niels Lozauer. I'm more into Lozauer, but and then you were saying that you thank you so much. Okay. And by the way, I'm not skipping anyone unless you're a trolling asshole. But was the Great Cat your first interview? That was a great place to start. Bad Brains HR. I'm going to work on that. Oh, Lee Ving, that's a good one. Someone remind me. Lee Ving of Fear. That would be a great one. Robert Sweet doesn't talk a lot, but maybe after we have Michael, I can set that up. I probably talk to him more than his brother. The cat being Peter Criss. Okay, the other great cat. I don't think he's doing anything. Did I like to interview Johnny Rod? Yes. I know Johnny Rod, and I've worked with him a few times. He's always a character, and he always delivers. That's what you expect from him, and I was glad he gave me that one, and that interview did really well. You must be a good interviewer because I stuck around for the Tiffany interview, which is out of my normal listening. Well, thank you, Scott. First of all, I like Tiffany. When I was a kid, I liked Debbie Gibson better than Tiffany. When I say liked, I meant I thought I wanted to bang. But can you say that? I'm not sure you can say that. Anyway, Debbie Gibson, I thought she was a New Yorker, blah, blah, blah. But as I got to know Tiffany, I just think she's great. And they're both great. There's room for Tiffany and Debbie Gibson in the world. Debbie Gibson lives here in Las Vegas as well. And got to get her on next. But what a compliment. Jim, my daughter likes your hair. Well, thank you. I will point out that this hair, and you can let your daughter know, is real. Your daughter can pull on it if she likes, or you, whoever would like to. This is the color might be a little artificial, but everything else is 100% real, unlike some bands. After the Tiffany interview, you pulled out the Playboy. Me too. I pulled out the Playboy during the interview. Who am I not like to? Tiffany is very attractive, and she's also very cool. And I think that's what's great about this show, that we have interviews with people that maybe you wouldn't normally watch. Tracy G had a family thing to deal with. He was going to come on, but he had to reschedule. But he'll be back. The Stepmothers. I like Samantha Seven. I'm a Samantha Seven fan. No need to thank me. I'm just doing my job. Janie Lane, I knew. I could tell you Janie Lane stories forever. I went to Shaquille O'Neal's birthday party with Janie Lane, where he showed me his driver's license that said John Kennedy Oswald's real name. He told me all about certain things, a lot I can't share. But what a nice guy and a talented guy. And Bobby Brown and I are talking, and Bobby is supposed to come on in December. She was going to come. She does things like she likes to only do things every couple months. But anyway, Bobby will be on. And I could tell Janie Lane stories forever. But I'll tell some of Bobby, and we'll see how that goes. Thrash metal guitar. Would you try for Michael Schenker? I'm going to tell a Michael Schenker story right now, so give me a second. And then I'll get to important questions like, what's my cat's name, which is Bitsy. I don't know where she is right now. She's sleeping. She sleeps right through these interviews. She's missing all of this entertainment. Okay, you want to hear a Michael Schenker story? I directed a show here in Vegas called the Vegas Rocks Awards for a woman named Sally Steele, who was an entrepreneur and a really independent businesswoman. I got to text her about coming on. She has a documentary. Anyway, interesting about the Burnett family. But so Michael Schenker, I gave him his credentials, his passes or whatever in the dressing room. And his assistant said, "Oh my God, you can't give him anything. He's lost it all already. Like lost it within seconds." And George Lynch told me, I don't think it's wrong telling the story, that he heard a story that Michael Schenker, they were on a tour or something, and he would hide his keys, like his tour bus key or something, in his rectum. And I got to ask George. I got to have George back. But yeah, that's supposedly Michael Schenker is an extreme character. So here's an interesting one. So yeah, I know Stephen Piercy. I knew Juan by touring with him. I went on tour with Rat, with Stephen and Juan, and he was nice enough. I think there's a lot of problems with Rat. And then, Juan would be a great interview. I don't think he would do it, but he would be a great interview. Because Stephen said he will not play as Rat without all the original members, which is crazy because Warren and Juan aren't going to play with Blotzer. I think Stephen's just trying to be the nice guy. Debbie Gibson is hot for sure. Bring on some porn stars. I thought about bringing on some porn stars, but you can't get monetized on YouTube. This is a family brand now, unfortunately. And yeah, so maybe on a podcast or something different. Yes, Samantha 7. Solid. Best Kiss drum intro, King of the Mountain. Definitely a good one. Loudness would be an interesting one. I'm getting ready to wrap up because I think, yeah, maybe to save Janie's stories for his birthday. Yeah, that could happen. Jason, cool name, Jason. Yes, Doug Pinnick. I got to get on that one because he would do it for sure, and I think he'd be a good interview. At the end of this, someone email me and tell me the people that I said were good because I'm not really writing anything down. And I'm really bad at responding, just so you know. I do my best. I got some funny stories about Whitfield Crane too with the Centers. Really good stuff. It's got to be for another day. These are long ones. Penelope Spears would be good. I see rest in peace, Frankie Vernon. I don't know who that is, so you have to tell me. I apologize, but rest in peace. Eric Brittingham I've reached out to, but I think after Jeff passed away, maybe they're kind of being quiet. Yeah, more interviews Paul Sortino. I love Paul Sortino. He's a little controversial these days. I guess they call him Dr. Paul Sortino now, but he's a nice guy. I did not know Christy Mack personally. Met her at events type things. All right, we're at the 1 hour 51:22 mark, so we're gonna have to start to break this up. I didn't think it would be. Well, I didn't think we'd talk so much. I thought I'd come on here. I literally just woke up. I go back and forth with Rudy Sarzo a lot. I think the Quiet Riot camp isn't going to let him come on. I've said things about Quiet Riot that I think they don't agree with. Anyway, well, I'm getting tired, and I just woke up. I literally just woke up. It might be time to think about dinner. And think about my big birthday. Okay. Sorry, not that. You're okay too, though. Frankie Vernon was the singer in Teenage Head. Got it. Yes, I should have known that. I apologize. Bigger a-hole, Lynch or Dockett. Hard to say. They've both been nice to me. Lynch is a more of a friend, but I'm not going to call. I'm not the kind of guy who likes to come on here and call people names. You know what I mean? I love everybody. Chuck Wright is, we're chatting. I want to talk about his career on Full House. Thank you, Jimmy Page. I appreciate it. And thank you for crediting Willie Dixon for all the music you stole from him. A lot of older African-American blues artists that Led Zeppelin robbed. It's good that you guys made peace with that. And Greta Van Fleet should also admit that they stole from people who stole. Thank you. Blah, 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 blah. Happy birthday. Sharon, I appreciate your birthday wish, and I hope that you will tune in this Tuesday at 6 p.m., maybe 5 p.m. I think I'm going to do it at 5 p.m. because I'm going to go watch Christmas Vacation. And then I have my domestic partner visitor. And so anyway, my birthday, you got to be part of it from an undisclosed location on the Las Vegas Strip. We're going to have a really fun time. This is an easy one. I'm going to do an episode, and I'm going to call it Motley Crue versus Rat. And we are going to go song by song, member by member, and we are going to pick which is the better band, who is superior, Motley Crue or Rat, every aspect. We're going to really break it down. Who is the better drummer is an easy one. Tommy Lee. Thank you, Jimmy. And give my best to Aleister Crowley. Okay. I got to wrap this up. Well, there's my first Thanksgiving invitation. Well, thank you, Greg. I don't know what part of the hemisphere you're in, but maybe I'll swing by. If you got any leftovers, I'll sit on your couch and tell you stories about Janie Lane, whatever else you want to know. If you got good Wi-Fi, we'll put on a show. Have you guys seen my bobblehead doll collection? When I was a kid, I always thought bobblehead dolls were kind of stupid. And now I kind of like it. and I like to try to get in bobbling it all at the same time. You guys sit around and bobble your bobbleheads? This is a hip bobble one, by the way. You see that? It's got a different kind of name. But we got Joey Ramone, Michael Myers. This is Michael Myers as well. Bela Lugosi as Dracula, Alfred Hitchcock, or Alfred Hitch Penis. I don't want to get demonetized. And then Elvis, the King, and Edgar Allan Poe. And you guys all know The Creature. And then down there is my lunchbox collection of monster lunchboxes. And the Ramones somehow got in the lunchbox collection too. And then there's some Sex Pistols pops. Anyway, I'm trying to show you guys some stuff. And blah, blah, blah. All right, we'll be back on Tuesday. Now, tomorrow morning, please, I'm going to get up. You can get up too. Set yourself a reminder. The way the YouTube works for you kids is that you got to react to the video. Interact with the video. I'm sharing the link right now. This is for Steve Blaze. Okay, get on there and set a reminder. 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Excuse me. I will be on there chatting with you from my bed. Clothing optional. And we'll talk to Steve Blaze of Lillian Axe. And I promise you, he tells some interesting Janie Lane stories. He tells some Robin Crosby stories, talks about Angel, and of course, Lillian Axe. A lot of good stuff. I would think you will like it. We'll be there. And then from there, Tuesday, my birthday, November 23rd, I will be broadcasting. And then I couldn't agree more with that. Any day I wake up is a great day. Yeah. Any day you read the obituary and you're not in it is a good day. And then, perfect. Well, Greg, tell your mom hi, and that I'll be there for Thanksgiving. Johnny Rotten would be a great interview. Unfortunately, I think he's not going to do it, or he's going to put on that fake difficult act that he does. And then the following on African American on Friday, we have an interview yet to be disclosed. But I will also have Johnny Monaco soon, and there's all kinds of stuff. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the super chats and for the super stickers and all the famous people who stopped by tonight and were nice enough to donate to the Laptop Foundation Fund. We had Tobias Forge, and we had Pete Willis. There was one other. I can't remember. There were so many stars. It was such a star-studded night. But anyway, thank you guys. We kept a lot of people in the room. Make sure you like these videos because that helps. That helps. And hey, Greg, thank you so much for that. Very nice. I appreciate it. A super sticker from Greg Ginn. Another all-star to the list. Jamie, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys liking it. And thank you for my birthday wishes. I know 70 years old. It only happens once. I didn't really get into my mother's. Hold on. Mick Brown will not do an interview. Mick Brown is retired, and we've spoke through mutual people, and he is not talking right now, unless there's a large sum of money. I didn't even get into my mother on social media, which has been driving me insane. You know, she wants me to accept her Facebook requests, and it's a whole. And I'm gonna have to change my name and get a new account. It's very stressful. Anyway, a lot of these YouTubers, they have these wacky. They have these wacky sign-offs, like with that Ricky Rackman, stick your fist in your ass and 1 foot in the gold or whatever bullshit he said. Sometimes I put on my jacket to sit in my living room. I feel like Ricky Rackman or Adam Curry or one of these assholes. I got my jacket on now. You know what I mean? So anyway, I always say I'm going to leave and I don't. We're at the 1 hour 59 mark. 2 hours is enough of me for anyone. Now, like Mr. Rogers, I take off my jacket and I go feed the fish. Next time, remind me to tell my story of meeting Mr. Rogers. I'm going to leave you with the teaser of all teasers. Me and Mr. Rogers hanging out in New York City. I promise you this, it's gold. And thank you. I hope to see some of you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go set a reminder on the Steve Blaze interview. And again, I know it's all just fun, but I appreciate you. Thank you and good night.